What's up, creepers? Welcome to Bryn and Phin Spoops.
I'm Bryn.
And I'm Phin.
Today we are going to be talking about
Sorry if I'm talking fast.
one of my very favorite movies.
Jaws.
Jaws! Jaws is
Chomp.
what? What do you think that is in my list of movies?
Second favorite.
My second favorite. What's my first favorite movie?
Alien.
Alien.
Should we do Alien? Does it count as a classic?
It does count as a classic. It's from the 70s.
Except we're not going to do Classic Movie Monday.
Right.
We have no more Mondays.
We have no more Mondays in the month of
God.
October.
Saturday.
It's late coming up on Tuesday here, but we fell behind this weekend. We are on day 26 for Jaws. And then later on
We did
today,
watch it on the nights. So we didn't fail the challenge, we just didn't record.
We didn't record. Okay, so we are going to break down Jaws for you. What are you giving it?
What am I giving it? 5 skulls.
5 skulls?
5 skulls.
5 skulls. Jaws is a classic. It's my favorite creature feature. It is one of my top 2 favorite movies of all time.
And I have a pumpkin. You're right, you have a pumpkin too.
I do. I have a pumpkin as
But
well.
you don't want to show off your pumpkin. I have a special pumpkin. Mine's like yellowish. And then my brother has an orange pumpkin. We all have different pumpkins. And then my father doesn't have a pumpkin. Father, why?
Okay, so welcome to Jaws. If you have not seen this movie and it came out in, I think, 1973, then
You're late.
you're late.
Very, very
It was
late.
directed by Phin.
Directed by...
Come on, you know this one.
I do.
Yep, you do.
I do.
You do.
I do.
He pretty much lived on the set that you were hanging out on.
I feel like I know who it is, but
Then
I
just
don't
say
want to
it.
be wrong.
Just say it.
No.
If it's wrong, then we'll cut.
No.
Say who it is. Who directed Jaws?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Tell me. Tell me. At least give me the first name then.
That would give it away immediately. His name has his first name and his last name have the same letter.
Is this Steven Spielberg?
Thank God.
I was thinking it. I so thought I was wrong. I thought I was just dead wrong, and I thought I was gonna act like an idiot.
Steven Spielberg, in fact, was still writing pages for the actors as they were filming, so he wasn't great at this whole directing game yet.
Isn't this his first movie?
Yes, and he
It's
also...
like so good.
It is. It's so good. It's based off of William Peter Blatty's novel, and... No, wait. Not William Peter Blatty. I forget the name of the dude that wrote Jaws. Now, my brain just... And I don't have my phone on me.
Brain
so I'm
fart.
sorry. You should definitely...
Watch
The book is
it.
different. The book is different. Just so you know.
Yeah, you kept
There's-
pointing out differences and
Well,
stuff.
there's a sex scene in it that is totally not needed, and let me just tell you, it's not between Ellen and Martin. So, if you're intrigued, check that out. It is between Ellen and somebody else. Okay.
Oh, I think I know. 'Cause I think you talked about it.
Yeah. Okay, so Jaws. Let's break it down. It came out in 1975.
75? 75.
Yeah. So how old was I, Phin?
3.
3.
3.
Too young.
Dad
to
was
watch
even
Jaws.
born. My father wasn't even born yet.
Okay, so it opens up with some kids partying on a beach. One of the girls goes for a night swim with the boy that's following her, but he passes out drunk on the beach and doesn't make it quite to the water. She's outside, she's out there swimming along, and then she gets the tug.
Tug.
The tug.
Huh? What was that? Oh, shoot.
In the book, the
Yolo.
tug is really scary because when she reaches down to find out what tugged her leg,
She doesn't see a leg.
can't find her leg. So that really screwed me up as a kid. Let me just tell you.
Well, you were too young, mother.
Yeah, I was freaked out. The camera angles are from below. How do you feel about that decision?
Interesting.
It's showing Bruce's perspective. Who's Bruce, Phin?
The shark.
He is the
Great
shark.
white shark.
The shark that did not want to work.
The freaking giant shark, too. God, it's so big.
Didn't want to work. So Bruce grabs her and starts shaking her, and she grabs hold of a buoy, and she's screaming for help, and the boy that was with her is passed out drunk on the beach, and nobody hears her. So the next day we see Martin Brody. He is the new sheriff, or the new police chief in town. He comes from
Brody
New
and
York
Bruce.
City. He comes from New York City, and he's looking for a quiet life on this island, on Amity Island. And
I thought he was just spending like the summer there.
no, he's the new police chief. He decided that it was too dangerous for his family to stay in New York City while he was a cop, so he took this job in Amity Island. So, Police Chief Brody is waking up, and it's the 4th of July week. So everybody's amping up towards 4th of July weekend, which is a big weekend for Amity Island because it brings in a lot of tourists, brings in a lot of money, and they are actually very, very dependent on that summer money coming from the tourists, coming from the East Coast. So he gets a call that there is a missing girl, and so he goes out to the beach where the boy that was with the girl is. He's like, she must have drowned, and he's like, maybe you didn't see her come out of the water, and he's like, I think she drowned. And then Chief Brody's one of his deputies starts whistling really loudly, and what do they find?
They find her body.
Pieces of her body, yeah.
Like half of her body.
So
Chomp chomp.
So
Chomp.
she's washed up and she's gross. There's some crabs, I think, maybe on her. I don't remember.
Yeah, those crabs. That's the scene that York liked. He's like, that's the only scene that I like.
So Brody decides he's going to take it upon himself to close the beaches, but he does not have that jurisdiction as the police chief. He needs to. Yes, he goes straight. He goes straight there.
Chiefs don't.
They do not have the jurisdiction to close the beaches without permission from the mayor and all of the people that are on that board. So. Small government.
Obviously, they don't want to close it
and
because they love money.
Yeah, Mayor Vaughn does not want to close these beaches because they will suffer if they do. While he's trying to convince Mayor Vaughn to close the beaches, he finds out that there is a group of Boy Scouts out getting their merit badge for swimming, and it's a mile-long swim, and it's out where the shark was. So.
I'm not good at swimming, but I'm a Boy Scout. I'm like terrible at swimming. But
they do. None of the Boy Scouts get eaten by the shark, so that was good. Yay.
Chomp.
So Brody ends up on the beach later on with his wife and his kids, and he's watching the beach pretty
closely.
Intently. And there is a lot of kids in the water. Alex Kintner asks his mom if he can go back out into the water, and she asks to see his hands, and they're all pruny, and she's like, oh, she's so mad at him because being pruny is terrible apparently. But he is able to go back out into the water, and he takes his floaty so we can recognize him easily, or the audience can see Alex out there in the water on his little floaty.
Why you get
I don't know. I don't. Can we just can we keep going?
Fine, you're so mean.
You always want to change the subject. So Alex is out there, and there's so many other kids out there, and they're all bouncing around and having fun and making a lot of noise by splashing and stuff. And Alex Kintner, you can see in the background,
he's on a yellow thing.
All of a sudden, it is like a shark blender. There's just blood flying up out of the
more blood.
And this is not a really gory movie. I'm going to say that right now. If you don't like gore, this is actually an okay movie for you. But there is a lot of blood spewing up from the water.
Yeah.
So
not like chunks though. I mean,
there's a big panic, and they all come running back in, and Alex's mom can't find him. So they decide that Alex's mom decides to put out a $3,000 reward for anybody that will hunt down the shark that killed her son.
And she blames it on what's his face, the new chief.
Chief Brody.
Brody, yeah. She blames it on Brody when Brody's trying to close it.
Right. Because he knew that there was a shark, and she's very upset with him. So Mrs. Kintner offers up this big reward, which brings in a lot of people from not just Amity Island, but all around, and they are just crowding the docks and trying to get boats.
There's like 2 giant boats coming in. And
yeah, no, that was 4th of July.
That was.
Yeah. No, this is when they're getting ready to hunt Bruce. And all of these people are just piling up on boats, and then they're taking dynamite out there. I mean, it's crazy, people. It's just $3,000 was a lot of money in 1975. So the community,
a lot of money now.
The community is in a big uproar over the closed beaches, and while they're having a big meeting about whether or not they're going to close the beaches, Quint, who is a local fisherman that specializes in sharks, he rakes his fingernails down the board in a very classic scene that everybody knows.
And everybody
he tells them,
He will get
find him for 3,000, but
he'd kill him for
10.
much more.
For 10,000.
I thought you said he needs
10.
much more. 10. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 13,000.
Yeah. So because he knows that this is probably a really, really big shark.
Big shark.
So, two fishermen, they tie a tire at the end of a dock with a roast, this guy's wife's roast. Something grabs the roast and pulls the dock apart and pulls one of the fishermen with it. And the other fisherman's on the dock that's left, and he sees the fin behind him, and he's like, "Swim, Charlie, swim! Like swim like your life."
I thought you
depends on
said
it."
Johnny. I'm like, no, Johnny, no. I totally thought he was gonna die.
So he
No,
didn't
lives.
die. He did not die.
He lived.
But he did lose the roast, so his wife's gonna be mad.
He's gonna be so mad. He said that was a very expensive roast too, like 300. I thought he said.
No, but it was an expensive piece of roast. There's no such thing as a $300 roast.
Are you sure about that?
Not
I'm sure.
in the 70s. So anyways, Richard
sure now.
Dreyfuss, Matt Hooper, everybody's favorite marine biologist, shows up on the island, and he
He's
is
the
very
best.
young.
And rich.
Yes, he's rich. Yes, he is rich.
Young and rich.
He decides to check out what's left of the first body that they found, and he realized that this was no boating accident. This was a shark, and this was a big shark based on the bite radius. This is the first time people start using the word bite radius in movies, because after this they use it all the time.
Because this is such a popular movie.
Right.
So
Well, yeah. So they think, so a bunch of fishermen think that they caught Bruce, but it's not Bruce, it's a tiger shark.
and there's an arrow in it.
Yeah.
Someone shot a bow and an arrow.
They
at a
need to. Matt Hooper says that they need to check the contents of his stomach, but Brody's like, I don't think we should cut open this shark and have that kid of Alex Kintner fall out of its stomach out onto the dock. He's like, I don't really think that's what the community needs right now.
Yeah.
So
they take it somewhere. Well, not yet.
Right. Then there's this really, really great scene with Brody and his youngest son, Sean, at the dinner table that I have always loved so much. And
is a
it's
great scene.
Sean mimicking Sheriff Brody or Chief Brody, and Ellen, his wife, watching this whole scene. And it's really touching, and it gives so much character to a character that could have just been very two-dimensional, but it gives so much depth to this character and how much he loves his family. And while they're in the middle of that, Matt Hooper shows up with some wine, and he's like, we're gonna drink this wine, and then we're gonna go check the contents of that shark's stomach.
Should have with 2 wines.
Yeah.
2, red and white. And he just takes the plate like,
So-
is anybody eating this? And he's just like,
They open the tiger shark's stomach, and it shows that the contents in it is there's no kid in there, but there is a license plate from Louisiana. So he obviously came up the Gulf Stream, and he's like, this is not our shark. It's got too small of a bite radius, and
there's
so
no
they
kid in
decide that they're going to go out in the middle of the night because they're night hunters, and they decide they're going to go look for Bruce on Matt's boat, and they come across Ben
It's a big
Gardner's
boat, too.
Yeah, he's got a nice boat. I don't know if they can take that one instead of Quinn's. Anyway.
I know, it's so big.
Actually, I think that was the police boat. I'm not sure. Anyways,
Well, it's huge.
they come across Ben Gardner's small
No, because
boat.
he said something about it.
Okay, can we move on?
So mean.
So they come across Ben Gardner's boat, and what does Matt do? Matt decides he needs to check out what?
Yeah, the bites on the bottom
hole.
of the hole.
The hole.
And he goes down
So
there.
he dives in.
And
scuba suit.
he finds a hole in the hole.
Yes, he does
And-
find a hole in the hole.
And then
And then Ben, he finds Ben.
Ben just floats in. It's disgusting. It's awful.
Ben's
There's a whole entire
body.
hole in the hole. That's actually fun to say. There's a whole entire hole in the hole.
Yes, so even after this knowledge that this is not the shark and that Ben Gardner's dead, Mayor Vaughn still doesn't care. And
What a frickin' prick.
boats upon boats of people show up for 4th of July because this is 4th of July
Yeah,
now.
the giant boats too.
Yeah.
Cruise ships.
And Mayor Vaughn, nobody's going into the water, and Mayor Vaughn makes his friends go into the water. It's like these 2 old people and then like their 3 grandkids, and he's like, go out into the water, and he's like, okay, Mayor. And they're like, hey, fun. Like going out into the water with their 3 grandkids.
And everyone else
And
is
then
like,
everybody else is like, oh, they're in the water.
let's get in the water.
Yeah, let's go get in the water.
So the mayor could have had them watch it. They'd still make some. Why did they have to go into the water?
To keep them there for the weekend. To show that it's safe. Amity means friendship, you know. So Martin, Sheriff Brody, or Chief Brody, he tells his oldest son, Michael, he's about 12, don't take your boat out, because he's got a new little sailboat, and he's like, take your boat into the pond. They call this little bay type of area the pond. It's still attached to the ocean, but it's a smaller area, and he's like, that pond is for old ladies. And he's just like, just do your old man a favor. So Michael is a good kid, and he takes his friends on his boat out into the pond. And there is a big panic because somebody sees a dorsal fin and they think that it's a shark, and it turns out to be
2 kids.
2 kids.
He's like, he made me do it.
The little shits.
He made me do it.
But while they are shaking down these kids for being the pranksters that they are, somebody else sees a fin in the pond.
Pond, lake,
where
whatever.
Michael is. There's another guy out on a rowboat right by
like,
Michael's
hey,
boat,
are
and
you guys
he's like,
okay?
"Hey, are you guys okay?" And
they're like, yeah, that jump.
the guy in the boat gets attacked.
Oh,
And Michael goes into shock, and
he's not dead, he's in shock.
really terrible. So Brody convinces the mayor to sign the bounty contract for Quint, and him and Hooper are going to go with Quint out onto the open ocean to hunt for Bruce, the big great white shark.
And this is why you hate the ocean?
I do hate the ocean.
Because of Bruce.
I am afraid of the ocean.
Did you not want me to say that?
What? I didn't.
Sorry.
Because a lot of people that watch this know that I collect mermaids, and now it just seems silly. So,
Should I cut that out?
no, it's fine. Anyway, so the rest of the story is basically these 3 men hunting for this shark. There are some really great scenes. There's some really great storytelling by Robert Shaw, who plays Quint. I don't want to ruin the rest of it for you, because if you've gotten this far, you've either seen it before and now you're nostalgic to see it again and don't remember exactly what happened toward the end, or you've never seen it before and you're like, why haven't I seen this movie? And I'm asking you, why haven't you seen this movie?
So,
It is playing, I believe, on AMC Plus. I think I found it there. It's either on AMC Plus or
Hulu.
was it on Hulu?
It's on either one. One of those two.
Yeah, it's either AMC Plus or Hulu.
I think it's AMC Plus, but I'm not sure.
But go check it out. It's so worth the watch. Go on, were you going to say something?
I was just going to do that.
Definitely check it out. And I do want you to check out the Wikipedia page, at the very least, about the USS Indianapolis and what happened with the sailors that were aboard the USS Indianapolis, and definitely learn some history from this great, great movie, because Quint used to be a sailor on the USS Indianapolis, which was sunk during World War II. So, 5 skulls.
5 skulls.
Make sure you go vote.
Go vote, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.